Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jai Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Jaya Radha Shama Sundara Radha Shama Sundara Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Nitai Gaura Sundar Nitai Gaura Sundar Nitai Gaura Sundar Nitai Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Gaura Haribo Nitai Gaur Premanande, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Guru Vrinda Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavad-Gita Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Agyantimirandasya Ginanjana Shalakaya Chaksharanmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karam Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavepyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mutai Matriyama Puravibur Nirmaya Kshatirama Shupurusha Bhungte Gunan Sadasha Sadasatmaka Yalang Krishishta Bhagavan Vacham Sime. Hare Krishna. So, good evening, everyone. I think there are special lovers of Bhagavad-Gita assembled here, because even to make it so far from the temple is not easy. So, congratulations. That's already an achievement in itself. So we will be reading from chapter 5, Karma Yoga, Action and Krishna Consciousness, text 17. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tad-buddhayas tad-ātmānas. Tad-buddhayas tad-ātmānas. Tan-niṣṭhās tat-parāyaṇāḥ. Tan-niṣṭhās tat-parāyaṇāḥ. Gacchanty apunar-āvṛttiṁ. Gacchanty apunar-āvṛttiṁ. jñāna-nirdhūta-kalmaṣāḥ. jñāna-nirdhūta-kalmaṣāḥ. tad-buddhayas tad-ātmānas. tan-niṣṭhās tat-parāyaṇāḥ. gacchanty apunar-āvṛttiṁ. jñāna-nirdhūta-kalmaṣāḥ. Haribol. tad-buddhayas tad-ātmānas. tan-niṣṭhās tat-parāyaṇāḥ. gacchanty apunar-āvṛttiṁ. jñāna-nirdhūta-kalmaṣāḥ. tad-buddhayas tad-ātmānas. tan-niṣṭhās tat-parāyaṇāḥ. gacchanty apunar-āvṛttiṁ. jñāna-nirdhūta-kalmaṣāḥ. tad-buddhayas tad-ātmānas. tan-niṣṭhās tat-parāyaṇāḥ. gacchanty apunar-āvṛttiṁ. jñāna-nirdhūta-kalmaṣāḥ. tad-buddhayas tad-ātmānas. tan-niṣṭhās tat-parāyaṇāḥ. apunar-āvṛttiṁ. jñāna-nirdhūta-kalmaṣāḥ. Synonyms: tad-buddhayaḥ, those whose intelligence is always in the Supreme. Tad-ātmānaḥ, those whose minds are always in the Supreme. Tat-niṣṭhāḥ, those whose faith is only meant for the Supreme. Tat-parāyaṇāḥ, who have completely taken shelter of Him. Gacchanty, go. Apunar-āvṛttiṁ, to liberation. Jnāna, by knowledge. Nirdhūta, cleansed. Kalmaṣāḥ, misgivings. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. Purport. The Supreme Transcendental Truth is Lord Krishna. The whole Bhagavad-Gita centers around the declaration that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the version of all Vedic literature. Paratattva means the Supreme Reality, who is understood by the knowers of the Supreme as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the last word in the Absolute. There is nothing more than that. The Lord says, Matta parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. Impersonal Brahman is also supported by Krishna. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Therefore, in all ways, Krishna is the Supreme Reality. One whose mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge are always in Krishna, or in other words, one who is fully in Krishna consciousness, is undoubtedly washed clean of all misgivings, and is in perfect knowledge in everything concerning transcendence. A Krishna-conscious person can thoroughly understand that there is duality, simultaneous identity, and individuality in Krishna, and equipped with such transcendental knowledge, one can make steady progress on the path of liberation. Hare Krishna. Anyone remembers what is the definition of what is the name of our philosophy? Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. So Srila Prabhupada refers to that in the purport. A Krishna-conscious person can thoroughly understand that there is duality, simultaneous identity and individuality in Krishna. So this is in scientific language, it's called paradox. Paradox means something which is there and which is not there. So the whole world is actually paradoxical, right? Sometimes scientists, they are saying that perpetual mobility is impossible, right? That you cannot make something move perpetually. Everything requires some energy input, right? And yet, the entire material world is created from perpetual systems. For example, atoms, right? If anyone knows even basics of physics, you know that there is a nucleus, proton, and there are electrons running around for billions of years, non-stop. So we're surrounded by perpetual mobility all over, because everything, the whole world is consisting of atoms, and they are all perpetual motors, right? And yet scientists, they say that it's impossible to create perpetual motor. So, yes, because we cannot make it, only God can make it. Srila Prabhupada was saying that human beings can make airplane, but can they create mosquito? Airplanes crash. Mosquitoes, no matter how many of them in the air, they never crash against each other, right? So we cannot even replicate such a small thing as mosquito, and we claim to be very advanced in science. So anyway, the entire world is full of paradoxes, and paradox is very simple, that God is there, but God is not there also, right? And this paradoxical understanding is applicable to everything in the world, in ourselves, and in the process of Krishna consciousness. For example, if you take deity, deity is Krishna, right? How do I understand that deity is Krishna? Because it's Krishna's energy. Consciousness of Krishna is present in the deity, right? Because consciousness of Krishna is all-pervading. The entire world is running by his consciousness. And the form of the deity is also a form of Krishna. So Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan, all three are in the deity. So what is the difference between Krishna and deity? There is no difference, right? Deity is Krishna directly. And yet, sometimes, some dacoits would attack temples and break the deity. And Prabhupada would say, sometimes Muslims would attack Hindu temples and they would break the deity. And they would be very happy by saying, now we have killed Hindu god. But can they kill Krishna by destroying the deity? No. So we can understand that Krishna is directly the deity, but yet deity is not Krishna. One time Srila Prabhupada explained this Achinti Beda Beda Tattva paradox in a very simple way. As many of you know, that our great-grandson of Henry IV, he became Prabhupada disciple, Ambarish Prabhu. So Prabhupada gives this analogy of fort. He says, fort is the car, right? There is such car as Ford, and yet Mr. Ford is not the car. So in the same way, the entire creation is Krishna, but Krishna is not the creation. So that's the example of paradoxical understanding. And this verse is very interesting. We're very fortunate because we are, first of all, in Sri Braj Bhumi, Vrindavan Dham. Second, this is the best time, Kartik month, dedicated to Srimati Radharani. And third is today's very special day also. What is the speciality of this day, today's day? The appearance of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. So not only we are doubly fortunate, we have triple fortune. How many of you feel very fortunate? Okay. And so this verse is explaining how we can become completely cleansed of all misgivings. Misgiving is a very interesting word. If you look at the dictionary definition of misgiving, because there are doubts and there are misgivings also, and they're very similar, right? But what is the difference between doubt and misgiving? Actually, the difference is that misgiving is something which is based on the lack of trust, right? Like Prabhupada would say, our movement is supposed to be based on two things. What are the two things? Love and trust. So, and which one is more important, love or trust? Some say love. Both. Anyone has any? Well, there is only one option left. Trust is more important. Just consider, do we love all devotees? How many of you feel that you love all the devotees? Okay. Do parents, how many of you are parents? Please raise your hands if you have children. Okay. How many of you love your children? Please raise your hands. Okay. But now, how many of you fully trust your children? No hands raised. Do you understand the difference between love and trust? You might love, but it does not necessarily mean that you trust. So we can understand that trust is higher level of relationship than love. And so, doubts, that's something theoretical, but misgivings, that's very personal, right? That you do not trust particular personality. And who is that particular personality? We have lack of trust in Krishna consciousness if we are not advanced spiritually. Krishna. So we do not trust Krishna, right? So this is the sign of high level of Krishna consciousness, full trust, full faith and full trust in Krishna. How many of you would like to be on that level? Full faith and full trust in Krishna. So, and this verse is actually explaining how to achieve that. So that's why it's really important verse, because he gives all the details we need to take care of in order to achieve that high level of Krishna consciousness. So first, tad-buddhayas, we have to focus our intelligence. That's why we have classes, right? Daily classes to help us focus our intelligence. Then tad-ātmānas, we have to focus our minds. Well, Krishna says that number of times in Bhagavad-Gita, right? Chapter 12, Mayeva mana datsva mai buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayeva atardvam na samshayaha. He says that just focus your mind and intelligence on me, and thus being completely absorbed in me, you will achieve me without any doubt. Asamshayaha. And third thing is niṣṭhā, tan-niṣṭhās. Niṣṭhā means firm faith, right? So what's the difference between advanced devotee and neophyte? Niṣṭhā, right? Because how do we call neophyte devotee? Ka niṣṭhā adhikari. What is the meaning of ka niṣṭhā? Means he doesn't have firm faith. His faith is very flimsy. So niṣṭhā means madhyam adhikari, at least. And tat-parāyaṇāḥ, parāyaṇa means complete shelter of the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada would say that real faith means trust in something sublime. Definition of faith, right? He quotes Chaitanya Charitamrita, Shada Shabde Vishvasa Sudrida Nishchaya Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Kritahaya. He says that definition of faith means firm conviction, vishwas, sudrida vishwas. Niṣṭhāya, without any doubts. Krishna Bhakti kaile, if I perform Krishna Bhakti, if I perform devotional service, sarva karma kritahaya, that everything can be achieved just by my performance of devotional service. I don't have to worry about anything else. So, and this is what it means to take full shelter of Krishna. And in this way, gacchanty apunar-āvṛttiṁ, we can become completely liberated. Liberated does not mean merging into Brahman, but liberated from material conditioning, right? Become liberated soul. Ihayasya harir-dasya karmana manasa gira. And jñāna-nirdhūta-kalmaṣāḥ, by this knowledge, we become completely cleansed of all misgivings. And so, because today is Narottam Das Thakur's appearance day, we have the best example. Of course, all our acharyas, not only him, but specifically himself, he showed this example. How can one use perfectly one's mind and intelligence in Krishna consciousness, having full faith and being fully surrendered? Okay, let's start with reflecting. How many of you are familiar to greater or lesser degree with the life story of Narottam Das Thakur? Please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, not too many. So, any example how he utilized his intelligence in Krishna consciousness? First of all, Krishna is giving special intelligence to special people. Whom does he give special intelligence? Anyone has idea? Very good, yes. Tasham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami bhakti-yogam stam yanamam upayantite. That those who serve him with love, he gives them special intelligence by which they can come to him. And so Narottam Das Thakur was getting this special intelligence from the Supreme Lord. Anyone can give any example from Narottam Das Thakur's life, how he was getting special intelligence by Krishna? Yes?
Swami had told him that he would not initiate.
Okay, very good.
Narottam Das Thakur had full faith. And so he did the menial service.
Okay. Yes, he practically forced Lokanath Das Goswami to give him initiation by humble service, right? Attitude. Very good. Yeah. He won him over. Any other examples? Yes.
If I can correctly remember, the Krishna Prem was represented in the Padma River, and Narottam Das Thakur, when he was supposed to take birth, then he was to go there and correctly remember it.
Yeah, Narottam Das Thakur got Krishna Prema from bathing in Padma River, where it was deposited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before his birth.
He was given that intelligence.
He was given that intelligence to go and bathe in Padma River. Okay, good. Yeah, I think one of the brightest examples is how he revived the entire Gaudiya Vaishnava movement, right? Because after the departure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu and many other senior leaders, many of the devotees were so distraught by the separation they couldn't do anything. They couldn't do any preaching. But Narottam Das Thakur decided to revive, lift everyone's spirit by organizing the first Gaura Purnima, right, in Keturi. And full Panchatattva was there, manifested themselves, and they were dancing in the festival. they came back from Goloka Vrindavan to inspire devotees. And he installed different deities. So he engaged everyone in devotional service, and he organized nice festivals. So he was a festival acharya of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Because everybody likes festivals, right? Everyone likes something which is inspiring. Srila Prabhupada, very interesting. If you think about it, there were many godbrothers of Srila Prabhupada who were materially, in terms of education, much higher education, much higher birth even, right? Because many of these devotees, they were taking birth in very exalted Brahmana families and had top levels of education, etc., very, very qualified. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati would send them out to the Western countries to preach. They couldn't achieve much success. But take Srila Prabhupada, who was born in Vaishya family, right? Just one level higher than Shudra for practical purposes, right? Not even Brahmana family. And, his education was college education. Even then he gave up his diploma, right? As a protest against British government. So from external point of view, he was college undergraduate, right? So college undergraduate, born in Vaishya family, and was a family man as opposed to his exalted sannyas godbrothers, right? Who had so much association with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And Prabhupada was, we know that he had association with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati very limited number of times. And yet, he achieved what none of them could achieve. How is that? Surprisingly enough, because they were going and everything was arranged for them. And some people expressed interest in Krishna consciousness. And then they would immediately say, four regulative principles, daily chanting of japa, all the rules and regulations, this and that. Hardly anyone could do that. And Prabhupada came, didn't impose any rules and regulations. What he was giving? Chant, dance, and be happy. Chanting, dancing, feasting. Later, Srila Prabhupada said, you know this story? It's from here. Tamal Krishna Maharaj remembers. He was giving charge of, the construction initially. In here, in India, was providing with materials, construction materials. And at some point he became so frustrated, he came to Srila Prabhupada. He said, Srila Prabhupada, I cannot do this service anymore. Because all these Hindus, they are total cheaters. I cannot deal with them. They say one thing, they do another thing. They always try to cheat. I don't want to do that. He was very frustrated. Prabhupada said, yes, I know. Hindus are cheaters because I'm Hindu and I've cheated you also. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was very shocked. He said, no, Srila Prabhupada, you are transcendental. You are not Hindu. Prabhupada said, no, I've cheated you. Because in the beginning, I told you, Krishna consciousness is so simple. Chant, dance, feast. And that's it. Nothing else is required. But after you started practicing, you started discovering there are so many more things, right? Early morning, rising in the early morning, right? So much service, read all Prabhupada's books, Once you finish them, start all over again. Chanting minimum 16 rounds is just for beginners, right? The perfection is Kirtanya Sadahari, always chant the holy name. In the beginning, Srila Prabhupada said, if I would tell you all the rules, you would faint. So he said, yes, I've cheated you also, transcendentally. So how Srila Prabhupada achieved so much success in the same place where none of his god brothers could achieve so much success? Did he start with rules and regulations? No. Krishna gave him intelligence. These people, they won't be able to follow immediately, so just give them prasadam, give them holy name, give them something interesting, philosophy to engage their intelligence, give them good association, service. And later, they were asking, do we have to do something more? Because it's also exciting, prasadam is so nice, kirtans are so nice, philosophy is so engaging. And Prabhupada said, oh, I'm glad you've asked, yes. Then the principles came, and chanting, minimum number of rounds came, etc. So very interesting how Krishna is giving intelligence to his fully surrendered devotees. Yeah. And focusing the mind on Krishna is very difficult, right? So how do we focus our minds on Krishna? Because this is something which is recommended in Bhagavad-Gita many, many times. How many of you feel you're successful in fully focusing your mind on Krishna? How many of you feel that you need to improve on this? Okay. So how do we focus our mind on Krishna? Again, looking at the examples of these great personalities like Narottam Das Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, very famous verse, 241, right? Historical verse for our movement. Because this was the verse which inspired Srila Prabhupada to take this bold step and go practically alone, without any support, and start preaching Krishna consciousness. Because he read Bhagavad-Gita 241. If any of you doesn't know this verse yet by heart, it's highly recommended that you learn it. Because only by the inspiration coming from this verse, Srila Prabhupada started his mission. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahushaka hyanantascha buddhaya vyavasayanam. A very important verse. Two things are compared to each other, Vyavasayatmika buddhi and buddhaya vyavasayanam. Focused intelligence and diverted intelligence, many-branched intelligence. So Krishna says that those who are interested in their spiritual development, they should have focused intelligence, focused on the goal. And if someone has distracted intelligence, then, one will never have determination. Determination is really important thing in Krishna consciousness. So we have to be determined, be focused and determined. So how do we become focused and determined? How do we focus our mind on Krishna? And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in the purport. It's actually there in Prabhupada's purport as well. to 241, that the main focus of the devotee is instruction of the spiritual master. So this is how we can focus our mind on Krishna, by focusing ourselves on fulfilling the instruction of the spiritual master. And from there, automatically, we can develop not just faith, shraddha, but actually niṣṭha, conviction. And then we can fully surrender unto Krishna. And if we surrender unto Krishna, then we can become very powerful instruments in His hands. We can see Narottam Das Thakur, what a powerful instrument in Krishna's hands, Srila Prabhupada. So many acharyas in our line, they became very powerful instruments. Why? Because they surrendered unto Krishna. Srila Prabhupada would say, what is the maximum speed you can move? Probably the greatest runners. What's the world record in running? Anyone knows? Not very high. Huh?
100 meters is in 4 minutes.
In 100 meters in 4 seconds, you mean to say. 100 meters in 4 seconds, okay. So that means 1 kilometer in 40 seconds, okay. And in any case, it's under 100 kilometers an hour. No one can run that fast, even the biggest runner. But Prabhupada says, if you take shelter of the airplane, an airplane can move with a speed of many hundreds of kilometers per hour, right? 1,000 kilometers per hour. So, and you don't even have to make effort. You can just relax, drink your juice, take your prasadam on board, and you're going to be running very fast. This is the advantage of taking full shelter of the superior force, and the greatest force, of course, is Krishna. So that's why taking shelter of Krishna is very advantageous in our lives. So I wanted to have some reflections. I hope that some of you heard something which was interesting, maybe useful in relation to that verse. Of course, there are so many more things we could be discussing, but this is the basis of it. And if there are questions, of course, we can address those questions. But yeah, any additions, subtractions, corrections, reflections? We can start with that. And then, if there are any questions, we can continue. Yes, Prabhu. Do we have another mic? That would be helpful. There is another microphone? Bhakta mic is really important in Krishna consciousness. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, like we have this Radha Mother Pond temple and the Radha Govinji temple in Ram. So they were broken by the Mughal Aurangzeb, I think. So we said initially in the class that Krishna is the deity, but deity is not Krishna. Achintya Bheda, of course. But as devotees, Vaishnavas, we always want to see Krishna win. Krishna's side will win. We don't want to see any demon win under any circumstance. So eventually, at the end of the day, it is not so digestible that Madan Mohanji was broken or Govindji was broken. I'm sorry, my speech we can. Why does Krishna allow like this to happen? He's all powerful. When devotees can have so many realizations with the deity, why that same deity didn't act when the robbers or the gangsters, whatever they came?
Yeah.
I hope I make sense.
Sure. Of course, Govindaji was not broken, he was hidden and then moved to Jaipur. But the temple was broken very badly. Both Govindaji temple and Madan Mohan temple were broken very badly. And temple is also part of Krishna's body, right? Because temple is Lord Balaram. So, and of course, devotees feel pain if temple is broken. And some other deities were broken in Vrindavan as well. So, why Krishna is allowing these things to happen? I mean, this is eternal question. Why bad things happen to good people? And of course, the best of all the persons is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. So why Krishna is allowing demons to have upper hand sometime, right? But the reason is very simple, because Krishna wants his devotees to, first of all, develop very intense emotion in relation to Krishna. And second of all, take responsibility in his service. And we can see that when these attacks were happening, of course, devotees had very intense emotions towards Krishna, trying to protect Krishna, etc. And these are natural emotions for Vrindavan, right? That when demons would attack Vrindavan and would attack Krishna, that sometimes Nanda, Yashoda and Krishna's friends, they would try to protect him. Like that, even though Krishna was protecting everyone, but they were trying to protect him. And we can see that when these demoniac people were attacking Vrindavan, breaking temples, breaking deities, devotees tried to protect Krishna. So in these intense circumstances, special relationships were developing between the Lord and his devotees. And for example, Govindaji was taken to Jaipur, and then he became the main deity for the whole city, right? And how many of you have been to Jaipur? It's amazing, right? That it is so far away from Vrindavan. It's actually on the other side of Delhi, right? Practically as far from Delhi on the other side as Vrindavan is from this side. But if you go there, it's such a, amazing Vrindavan mood. Everyone says Radhe Radhe. There are parrots, green parrots everywhere in Jaipur, same like in Vrindavan. And even if you go to, in Delhi, the water is sweet. But you go to Kanak Vrindavan, the water is so salty, you feel like you're really in Vrindavan. So it's amazing that Vrindavan expanded in Jaipur. So Jaipur is like Gupta Vrindavan, hidden Vrindavan. Actually, it's not even so hidden. You can see it's clear expansion of Vrindavan because Govinda Dev is there. So yeah, Krishna achieves many, many purposes by something which may seem to be bad, but actually it's very good. Thank you. Very good point. Prabhu.
Thank you very much for the niceness. Maharaj, is it that, like even when Parikshit Maharaj wanted to kill Kali, Krishna allowed Kali to fool Parikshit Maharaj by asking him to grant 2 places where he could hide. Because Krishna wanted Kali to advance, time had come. So even Parikshit Maharaj was removed, even though he was Rajrishi. So in a similar way, like through these barbarians, Krishna allows all this destruction so that Kali Yuga can advance. Because, Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. And it is based on barbarism. We can see right now, all over the world, each and every country is having problems with their Muslim population. So, could that be one of the reasons also?
Yeah, definitely. Because Bhagavatam says that, Kaler dosha nidhera janasti heka mahadgunan. Kirtanat eva Krishnasya mukta sangha param brajet. That even though Kali Yuga is the ocean of fault, but there is one great mahadgunat, great quality. Kirtanat eva Krishnasya. Just by chanting Krishna's names, mukta sangha param brajet, one can achieve total liberation and param brajet. One can achieve the supreme goal. Actually, braja means go, right? It's very interesting to see that in Vraj, everyone is going somewhere. So Braj means go. And so in many of these verses, in Bhagavad-Gita also, right? That 1866, when Krishna says, Sarvadharamam parityaja mamekam sharanam braja, acharyas are saying, Krishna means go to Braj. And in this verse also, it's a subtle reference to Braj, Vrindavan. And so, yes, that without, acharyas are saying that without acute distress, people of Kali Yuga will not surrender. They need acute distress to surrender. So Krishna is providing this acute distress to help everyone to surrender. Thank you. Great point. Prabhu? Yeah, you wanted to say something? Somebody was raising hands also. We still have a few more minutes, 3-4 minutes, if you want to share any reflections of, or if there are any more points, questions, comments. So, okay, same devotees.
Hare Krishna. It is a little different question, but still I'm asking. So, like in our movement, in our society, there are many great souls, and we all remember our previous acharyas like Narottam Thakur. Say an ordinary sadhaka like me and others also. So, how we can achieve the dream of becoming a pure devotee, a great soul, not wanting to become great, but become a pure devotee.
Yeah.
Like the Lord's personal associate, something like that.
Yes, there is one amazing paradox in this world. As we've mentioned, the whole world is based on paradoxes. And one paradox, surprising paradox, is that, advanced people, they think they are fallen, and fallen people think they are advanced. In the same way as foolish people think they are very smart, and smart people think they are very foolish. So, and actually, if you see Srila Prabhupada's mood, it's also interesting in relation to Narottam Das Thakur, because the entire concept of Krishna Balaram temple came from the favorite bhajan of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada had favorite bhajan, which was bhajan of Narottam Das Thakur. Which one was that? Anyone knows? Yes, Hari Hari, Ishtade Vigyapati. Yeah. The prayer to the beloved Lord. And in this it's expression of great humility. Smooth, that, jani ashuni abhishakaino, that knowingly I'm drinking poison, I'm not serving Krishna, I'm not surrendering to Krishna. So this is how Srila Prabhupada felt. He felt himself very humble and very low. But then, this song says, Brajendra Nandana Jai Sachi Sutta Hoilo Sei Balaram Hoilo Nitai. That Krishna, Brajendra Nandana, the son of King of Braj, he became Sachi Sutta, he became Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Balaram came as Nitai. And so the entire idea of Krishna Balaram temple was to show that Gaur Nitai and Krishna Balaram are non-different, right? And of course, Radha Shyama Sundar as the topmost goal, right? But because it's Raman Reti, where Krishna Balaram performed their pastime, so Srila Prabhupada took it as indication from Krishna that he can actually not materialize, but manifest the revelation of Narottam Das Thakur in reality, like that, show that Gaur Nitai and Krishna Balaram are the same persons. So we can see, Srila Prabhupada, he felt himself very humble and very unqualified, because this is the idea. If you think that I'm very qualified, I'm worthy, there is no impetus to surrender unto Krishna. But if you feel I'm nothing, it's only Krishna who can do something, then you become perfect instrument in Krishna's hands. Let me see the show of hands. How many of you had that, revelation in your life? You felt you cannot do it at all, you give up, and you say, Krishna, I cannot do it, and then suddenly it just happens on its own. How many of you had that experience? At the point when you gave up, everything started happening, right? So this is how it works in Krishna consciousness. Actually, we have to come to that point that I am nothing, I cannot do anything, Krishna, please take care of it. Do something. And then it starts happening. I had so many experiences like that. So this is the process of surrendering, understanding that we're actually not the doers at all. Very interesting. Yes?
Maharaj, you just gave a definition of humility, being that to feel oneself unqualified. What are the other definitions? Because humility is quite a big word, isn't it?
Well, humility comes from, is it Greek or Latin? Humus. And humus means earth. So humility is the soil upon which everything develops, is the foundation, basically speaking. Foundational quality. It's interesting because, I'm dealing a little bit with business circles. And Harvard Business School made a research, and they interviewed top leadership of 500 leading corporations, and they were asking one question of everybody. Which qualities would you love to see in your CEO? And the top two answers came: humility and compassion. Well, they had practical application of these things, because humility, in their definition, means ability to recognize and rectify one's mistakes. That's humility. That, okay, I see my problems and I'm ready to rectify, and I'll be working to rectify my problems. This is practical business definition of humility. And compassion means not being too hard or harsh on other people's mistakes, right? Being, a little bit more lenient towards them, be more tolerant towards them. It's amazing. I mean, people, they are not willing to become saints, but they want to see their top level of leadership. They want to see only saints up there, those who have humility and compassion. So that's another, confirmation how important our movement is, because this is what Prabhupada came to train everyone, right, in these qualities. And so if we become humble and compassionate, here we go. All the top positions of the leadership in the world will become open for us. Hare Krishna. All right, so thank you all very much for your kind attention. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Narottam Das Thakur ki jai, Kartik Mant ki jai.